Hey everyone, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something huge, how to genuinely speak English better in 2025. Whether you're studying, working, or just love the language, this affects millions. And we've got this great guide, Elevate Your English Speaking, 15 Modern Strategies. So our mission here is to really dig into it, pull out the best, most practical techniques it offers, and help you figure out what actually works.
Absolutely. It's such a relevant goal, and I like that the source focuses on modern tools and approaches. Things have changed, right? Technology plays a big part now. This dive is all about helping you, the listener, cut through all the advice out there and focus.
Exactly. Find what really moves the needle. Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this list, starting with what the source says is maybe the simplest but most powerful tip. So, strategy 1. Speak a little English every single day. And they really stress that everyday part. It's not just about class time. It's about weaving it into your life. And kind of surprisingly, they suggest speaking to yourself, like out loud, maybe in the mirror, describing things or just narrating your day, what you ate, your plans. Might feel a bit odd at first, right?
Right, but the why behind it is crucial. It actually builds muscle memory for the sounds of English. It gets your mouth used to forming the words. And importantly, it trains your brain to start thinking in English rather than translating.
Ah, okay. Bypassing the translation step.
Exactly. Plus, practicing alone removes that fear of judgment. That's often a massive hurdle for learners. So yeah, it's presented as this really foundational, effective way to build fluency.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, building on that daily practice idea, the article then points to something very 2025.
Yeah.
Use AI tools. It makes a good point. Lots of us use things like ChatGPT or Siri or Alexa already, but maybe not for language learning. It's a bit of a missed opportunity, isn't it? I mean, think about it. They're available 24/7. You can ask simple things, sure, but the really cool part the article mentions is using, say, ChatGPT to roleplay.
Yeah.
Like practice a job interview, order food, have a casual chat, even debate something.
And the real benefit there, according to the source, is getting that interactive communication practice. These AI tools are patient. They won't dump you. They're always there.
Always ready.
It gives you a way to have conversations that feel more real than just reciting phrases without needing another person available at that exact moment.
Right. Practice conversations are key. But what about the building blocks? That leads to strategy 3. Learn phrases, not just words.
This is a big one.
Yeah, the article argues that just memorizing isolated words, it has limits. Like, you might know the word happy, but can you actually use it naturally in different ways? So the idea is to learn chunks of language phrases, collocations, how words naturally stick together. Examples like, instead of just happy, learn, I'm feeling pretty happy today, or that really made my day.
Exactly. And the insight here is really powerful. Fluent speakers tend to think and speak in these ready-made phrases. They're not constantly building sentences from scratch, using grammar rules in their head.
It's like having pre-built components.
Precisely. Knowing these phrases makes your speech flow so much better. The article uses this great image like water flowing from a tap. It helps you unlock that natural rhythm. Translating word by word just slows everything down.
Okay, so we got tools, internal practice, learning phrases. What about actually sounding more natural? Point 4. Shadow native speaker.
Oh, shadowing, yes.
So this is where you listen to native English, maybe a video clip, a podcast, and you repeat exactly what they say right after them, trying to copy everything. The tone, the speed, the rhythm, even the little pauses.
It's like acting almost.
Yeah, kind of. The article suggests starting small, maybe just a 2-minute clip, and going sentence by sentence, really focusing on matching the sound.
And the impact. The source claims it can dramatically improve your pronunciation, your intonation, that musicality of English, and your confidence, too. It even suggests you could notice a difference in just a week if you're consistent.
Wow, a week? That's fast.
It's a very direct way to train your ear and your mouth together.
Okay, that handles the sound. But we still need interaction, right? So,
Yeah.
Point 5. Join online speaking clubs.
Right, leveraging the online world.
Exactly. The article stresses that you don't need to live abroad anymore. In 2025, there are tons of virtual communities, Zoom groups, Clubhouse rooms, Telegram channels, Discord servers, and there's variety too, right? Clubs for beginners, intermediate, business English. The key, it says, is consistency and, having the courage to jump in, overcoming that fear of making mistakes.
Definitely. And the source makes a point that these spaces are usually really supportive. Everyone's learning. Mistakes are just part of it. It's often a judgment-free zone.
That's encouraging.
And, even just listening in at first can be valuable. Get a feel for it before you decide to speak up. Find a space where you feel comfortable using your voice.
Good tip. Okay, so we've talked about practicing alone with AI, mimicking, joining groups. But how do you figure out what you actually need to work on? Strategy 6 hits this head on. Record yourself speaking.
The mirror test, but for your voice.
Exactly. It might feel a bit awkward, the article admits, but it's simple. Grab your phone, use the voice recorder, and just talk. About your day, a movie, the news, whatever. But the crucial part is listening back. The source calls this one of the fastest ways to spot your own weak points, things you might not even notice while speaking, like maybe unclear pronunciation on certain sounds, too many pauses, or relying on filler words like or like.
Those fillers.
Yeah. It even suggests maybe keeping a sort of daily audio diary.
And the real value there is that self-assessment. It's objective feedback, in a way. You hear what you actually sound like, and as the source points out, hearing your own progress over time. That can be incredibly motivating. It shows you the work is paying off.
True, seeing progress is key.
Yeah.
Okay, another tool combining listening and reading, strategy 7. Follow podcasts with subtitles or transcripts.
A great resource if you can find podcasts that offer them.
Yeah. The technique is basically listen while reading along. Pause, rewind if you miss something, maybe repeat sentences out loud to practice the pronunciation as you hear it. And then the next step is to try listening again later without the text to really test your comprehension. The benefits mentioned are boosting vocabulary, improving understanding, and just absorbing natural speaking patterns. They list examples like The English We Speak, ESL Pod, All Ears English.
And a really vital piece of advice connected to this. Choose podcasts on topics you actually find interesting.
Right, makes sense.
Because the more fun you're having, the less it feels like study, and the faster you'll learn. Your engagement drives the learning.
Okay, so lots on input and output. What about the process in between? Point 8 gets into the mind. Train your brain to think in English.
This is a big shift for many learners.
It is. It's about stopping that habit of mentally translating everything from your native language first, which the article admits is tough initially. The practical method they suggest is pretty simple, though. Just narrate your everyday actions to yourself, but in English. Saliently, in your head, I'm walking to the kitchen now. Okay, I need to make coffee. Describe what you're doing, seeing, feeling.
And the outcome. Over time, your brain gets more used to processing thoughts directly in English. It cuts down that mental lag between having an idea and saying it.
Make speaking faster, more automatic.
Exactly. It's a deeper level of fluency, reducing those steps between thought and speech.
Got it. Okay, thinking in English helps. Daily practice helps. Let's circle back to tech for point 9. Use apps that focus on speaking.
Right. The phone as a language lab.
Yeah, learning isn't just classrooms now. The article points to apps specifically designed for speaking practice. It mentions Elsa Speak for AI pronunciation feedback.
I've heard of that one.
Cambly for instantly connecting with live tutors for chats, and HelloTalk for language exchange with native speakers.
And the key insight there is that these apps often give you targeted practice, feedback, ways to track your progress. They can simulate conversations or drill down on specific mechanics like pronunciation. It's about smart, efficient practice you can do anywhere.
Okay, now for something that sounds maybe a bit less serious, but the article frames it as actual training. Point 10, practice English tongue twisters.
Peter Piper.
Exactly. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Red lorry, yellow lorry. The article says these aren't just kid stuff. They're like a gym workout for your mouth.
A mouth workout. I like that.
The method is start slow, get the sounds right, then gradually speed up.
And the benefit, according to the source, is that they genuinely help with pronunciation, clarity, speaking speed, and overall fluency. They really work those muscles involved in articulation, improving your control.
Okay, moving from physical practice to mindset. This is huge. Point 11, focus on being understood, not perfect.
Yes, this is so important.
It really addresses that fear, doesn't it? The fear of making grammar mistakes that stops so many people from even trying to speak. The article states it plainly. Fluency isn't about perfection. Even native speakers make mistakes. The real goal, it argues, should be clear communication. Can people understand you?
Right.
So focus on pronunciation, on tone, on getting your message across clearly, rather than getting every single tense perfect.
And this really brings up a fundamental question for you, the listener. How do you measure success? The source's message is powerful. Communication is king. Don't wait until your English is perfect, because that day might never come. Speaking, even with mistakes, is how you improve.
Absolutely. Okay, linking back to modern habits, strategy 12 is pretty neat. Use voice or video messaging instead of text.
Oh, interesting. Instead of typing replies.
Yeah. When you're chatting with English-speaking friends or partners, just hit the record button and send a voice note. And if you're feeling brave, the article adds, try video messages. That helps you practice not just speaking, but also things like facial expressions, body language, just being comfortable on camera.
And the why behind that is it forces more real-time thinking and speaking. You can't easily edit a voice note like you can text. So it gets you used to expressing ideas more spontaneously without overthinking. Builds that unscripted confidence.
I can see that. Okay, tapping into another huge trend. Strategy 13. Watch reels and shorts with real conversations.
Using social media for learning.
Exactly. Instagram reels, YouTube shorts, TikTok, they're everywhere. The suggestion is to use them strategically, follow creators who share clips of natural dialogue or offer mini language lessons. The format is great, right? Short, snappy, full of authentic language, slang, everyday expressions, how people really talk, and you can rewatch them easily.
What's fascinating there is how everyday entertainment becomes a learning tool. The source highlights that this gives you exposure to current natural English, making your own speech sound less textbook-like and more, well, real.
Makes sense. All right, point 14 uses something almost everyone loves. Learn through music and singing.
Ah, the universal language.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The article calls music an amazing teacher. The advice is simple. Find English songs you like, look up the lyrics, and sing along. It even suggests different music styles help different things, like ballads for rhythm and emotional expression, maybe rap for practicing speed and timing. Turn learning into karaoke night.
And the benefits are clear. Singing helps you remember vocabulary, internalize the rhythm and stress patterns of English, and just feel how the language flows with melody. It's a fun way to work on pronunciation and intonation without feeling like you're drilling.
Definitely sounds more fun than grammar drills.
No.
Okay, and the final strategy, number 15, brings it all back to mindset, a really crucial bookend. Accept mistakes and keep going.
The foundation for everything else, really.
Totally. The article is very clear. Making mistakes is not failure. It's just part of learning. It's essential, unavoidable. Uses that great analogy. Think about little kids learning to talk. They make endless mistakes, and nobody laughs or criticizes. The source encourages you to be just as bold, just as accepting of your own process. Every time you speak, even if you stumble, you're getting closer. Be proud of the effort.
And this loops back to that core idea running through the whole source. English isn't just a subject, it's a practical skill, like learning to play guitar or swim. It improves with practice, with patience, and yeah, with passion. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it's about embracing the journey, the process of getting better, not just aiming for some mythical endpoint.
So that's the rundown, 15 strategies from this guide, covering daily habits, modern tools, ways to practice, and that all-important mindset for elevating your English speaking in 2025.
Yeah, quite a toolkit. And I think the key takeaway from the source's conclusion is you don't have to do all 15 at once. That would be overwhelming.
Right. Start small.
Exactly. Pick one or two that really appeal to you, that seem doable for you right now, and commit to them. Be consistent, that little bit of speaking practice every single day. That's the engine.
And just echoing that final thought from the article, try to enjoy it. Find the fun in the process of learning and improving. Celebrate those small victories along the way.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, building on that idea of English as a skill. If fluency is like playing an instrument, something you constantly practice and refine, even when you're good, what does that really mean for the idea of ever being finished learning English? Is there even such a thing? Something for you to think about.
Ooh, that's a good one. A fantastic thought to ponder. Thanks everyone for joining us for this deep dive into boosting your English speaking. We'll catch you on the next one.